From post-hoc prophecy to ritual myth, how a conspiracy collapses under its own weight. In the aftermath of shocking, emotionally charged events, conspiracy narratives flourish, not because they are evidentially strong, but because they impose order where facts are incomplete. This case is a textbook example. What began as an alleged prophetic Zhihu comment has metastasized into a ritual conspiracy complete with purification rites, proxies, and metaphysical intent. Yet the moment minimal epistemic discipline is applied, the entire structure collapses under the weight of its own contradictions. The first pillar is the supposed Zhihu comment allegedly posted in September 2021, predicting that you would be gone 4 years later. The problem is not merely that the comment cannot be verified, it is that it did not surface, circulate, or attract attention until after Yu's death. There is no need to argue endlessly over screenshot formats or visual inconsistencies. Those debates go nowhere. Scale alone is decisive. On a platform with millions of users, screenshot culture, reposting incentives, algorithmic resurfacing, and adversarial attention, a genuinely uncanny prediction does not remain invisible for 4 years. Post-event discovery is not neutral. It is evidentiary poison. Once timing is considered, fabrication or backdating becomes overwhelmingly more plausible than foresight. If this intuition feels uncertain, it can be tested directly using mathematical reasoning about exposure risk. If a real prediction existed, what are the chances it stayed completely unnoticed? That single question is the entire foundation of the claim. For the comment to remain unseen, every one of several failures has to happen at the same time. No one notices it. No one screenshots it. No one reposts it. No algorithm resurfaces it. No archive captures it. And no one goes looking for it. This means the odds don't add up. They multiply. Each missed detection makes the overall chance smaller, not larger. Even if we make extremely generous assumptions, saying each failure has a 10% chance, the combined probability becomes 1 in a million, and that's being kind to the conspiracy. Visibility isn't static. It compounds over time. If something avoids attention for 1 year, it still has to avoid attention again and again and again, 4 times in a row. Even with an absurdly generous assumption, a 50% chance of staying hidden each year, after 4 years, the odds collapse to about 6%. Put everything together, and the conclusion is unavoidable. If the prediction were real, the chance that it stayed unnoticed until after the death is essentially 0. Now flip the question. Given that the comment only appeared after the death, how likely is it that it was genuine? Bayesian reasoning says that probability depends on how likely it was to stay hidden and how likely real prophecies are in the first place. Since real prophecies are already vanishingly rare and staying unnoticed is even rarer, the late discovery doesn't support the claim. It destroys it. This is why timing matters. On platforms of this scale, genuine foresight doesn't surface late. Only fabrication does. From failed prophecy to ritual myth, unable to sustain the predictive claim, the narrative escalates into a ritual explanation. This is where it stops being merely unsupported and becomes internally incoherent. Ritual sacrifice, across cultures and historical contexts, has consistent structural requirements: secrecy, role discipline, symbolic constraint, and outcome certainty. The alleged facts violate each of these. First, there was reportedly a coded message sent to paparazzi days before the incident, referring to the disciplining of Yu, a standard industry practice. Given the confirmed presence of paparazzi on the day, the message was likely genuine. Crucially, discipline denotes punishment, correction, or control, not sacrificial necessity. A ritual that requires death cannot coherently announce itself in the language of management. Stated intent constrains interpretation. Second, paparazzi were reportedly positioned to film the event. This alone destroys the ritual framework. Rituals are inward-facing and tightly controlled. Paparazzi are uncontrollable outsiders. Their presence introduces risk, exposure, and unpredictability. Visibility makes sense for intimidation or spectacle. It does not make sense for sacrificial secrecy. One cannot coherently claim both ritual concealment and theatrical display without abandoning ritual logic entirely. A far simpler explanation fits the known facts: a coercive or disciplinary event designed to be seen, which escalated beyond control. Purification and its self-negation. The theory then introduces purification. Yu, it is claimed, was required to adopt veganism as bodily and moral cleansing. Purification rituals rely on restraint, abstention, and containment of desire. Yet both leaked video footage, and Yu's shouted last words indicated sexual assault, with even a paparazzo reacting in shock. How ugly can humans be? This contradiction is fatal. Sexual violence is not a transgression within a purification ritual. It is the negation of ritual logic itself. It introduces uncontrolled desire, personal indulgence, and symbolic contamination. No coherent symbolic system demands ascetic discipline from the supposed offering, while permitting unrestrained violation by the actors. That asymmetry is not esoteric. It is incoherent. The line that ends the sacrifice theory. Finally, leaked audio fragments are cited in which participants are heard saying, "He won't die." If accurate, this single line dismantles the sacrifice theory on its own. A sacrifice whose participants expect survival is not a sacrifice. Death is not incidental in such frameworks. It is the point. Reassurance about survival contradicts the ritual's supposed purpose entirely. What remains is not a failed sacrifice, but something else: coercion, punishment, or abuse rationalized after the fact. Narrative accumulation without coherence. Each element, prophecy, ritual, purification, proxies, is added because it feels symbolically appropriate, not because it survives contact with logic. This is the signature of conspiracy thinking. Evidence is replaced with aesthetic resonance. Contradictions are not resolved. They are ignored or buried under appeals to secrecy. The deeper cost is not just intellectual error. By declaring the truth already known, conspiracy narratives foreclose investigation. They redirect attention away from concrete mechanisms, power asymmetries, institutional impunity, disciplinary systems, and toward mythic explanations that cannot be tested or falsified. In doing so, they end up serving the very structures they claim to oppose. And what has been refuted here is not a single claim, but a method. From the post-hoc prediction to the internally inconsistent ritual myth, the narrative fails everywhere evidence, timing, intent, and logic are examined together. Rejecting it does not require faith in authority or denial of wrongdoing. It requires only a commitment to coherence. And coherence leaves the conspiracy with nothing left to stand on.